Hey Internet, we are working on Rumba and we're having a chat discussion theory video today on the Rumba and the building blocks. So start with a little bit of history. The Rumba is actually two dances smashed together, and it takes the boxy shapes from the waltz on the ballroom side and the linear rocking shapes of the Latin side. So you run into some neat combos, cool things that can happen with that, and you also run into some strange transitions and things that make it feel a little different too. Rumba is a great one for all different kinds of music. It's one of the more practical dances if you're going to just pick a couple, which we don't do. We learn all of them, so just learn all of them. The music that it fits is going to be anything that's medium to medium slow to medium fast, and lots of different options for that. Alright, into the building blocks. So our first building block is shared with the waltz again, and that's a half a box. And when we're talking about a half a box, that means our first step is going to be a forward or a backward step from the hip. Our second step is going to be sideways from the hip. And our third step, the foot is going to try to come together underneath your center of balance. So in Rumba's case, the rhythm is slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. That would be forward, side together, back, side together. When you overlay those directions with the assumptions of the half a box with the actual rhythm that you're taking. Followers would be the opposite. We're going back on the right first, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick becomes back, side together, forward, side together. So those half boxes can go in any direction, which means I could have forward, side together, forward, side together, forward, side together, and they can turn or not turn. If a box half is going to turn, it's going to do that on the first part of that box. So it's going to be a turn on the 1. If you're counting to 8, it'll be a turn on the 5 as well. But the forward and back steps can rotate because we have that smooth dance thing from waltz and the others where the leading toe goes out and the behind heel goes out. So that'll be true of your box as well. If you're stepping back on your right as a follower, your heel would go out. That would turn you on that first step, or forward as a leader on your left. Alright, we got building block number 1 is half a box. Second building block takes us from the ballroom half to the Latin half, and that's going to be that we have our linear motions, the on the line. So some of the dances have 2 on the lines. Rumba just has the 1 because it behaves the same whether you're going side to side or you're going forward and back. So in the cases of like cha-cha, the side line is distinctly different, behaves differently than the forward and back progressive line than the curving chas does. That's a video for a different class. But Rumba, the on the line is constant. So you're going to rock in a direction. If it's a back rock, then you'll return to center on the slow. And then same with if it's a forward rock or a side rock. But the idea is that you're going to do a rock step on one side and then come back to the middle. And then you'll do a rock step on the other side and you'll come back to the middle. For followers, that means that your assumption here when you're on the line, whatever you did on this side, if it's a forward, you're going to try to do on the other side. That's sort of the new assumption, the new basic. So if you're doing a crossover break, then you're going to have that be crossover, 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 crossover in perpetuity until something changes. So that means it's important when we're dancing socially that our changes from box shapes to line shapes are distinct, that they're easy to tell. And so you do that, leaders, from box to line by pulling the follower's frame to the side, and to go from the line back to the box, you're going to turn, give you turning cam there for a second, sorry. You're going to turn the followers out of a rock step so that their hips line up in that forward and back half a box assumption. All right, we've got 2 down. We've got our half a box, and we've got on the line for rumba. The next 2 are kind of unique to rumba, and that is going to be opening out. The idea for opening out is your motion can go away from your partner's motion, and you have this kind of stretch. So stretch and breathing the frame are not unique to rumba, but this idea of I'm going to rock in an opposite direction to cause a certain set of shapes, that is more or less rumba, and its derivatives or cousins like bolero and sometimes bachata and those kinds of things as well. But the opening out essentially means that I'm going to send you in a direction, and I'm going to take myself in the opposite direction on purpose, so that when we come back together, there's a little bit of a snapback, there's a little bit of a momentum, I guess if you want to call it that, into the next shape. So opening out can take a couple of forms. When we're in our progressive line, forward and back, an open break rocks us straight back away from one another and creates a little stretch. Intermediate steps like the palista are good examples, where I do a side break to the left when the follower does a back break to my right, so they would go to their left and I would go to their right. So that palista is a good example. Any of our peekaboos and things that go opposite one another can have that stretch and that opening out as well. Okay, 3 down. We've got our box, or half a box rather, on the line, which can be forward and back or side to side, and then we have this opening out. So our next building block for rumba is going to be a swivel or through the slow, and essentially that means anytime there's a slow, anytime there's a 1 or a 5, that if there's a rotation involved, we do it over the course of the whole slow. So rather than step and I turned and everything happened at once, it's more like slow and I turned throughout. So I know I'm just a head on a screen, but that is so that's going to be your moving through the slow is our 4th building block. So that's going to take the sharpness of a lot of the ballroom Latin dances, cha-cha and mambo, and it's going to be one of the main things that causes rumba to be the smoothest of the Latin dances, or one of the smoothest. And so when I step to the side to do a crossover, I am rotating through that whole motion. As soon as my body starts going to the side, I'm already rotating through, so that I'm lined up before the rock step in whatever is the shape that I'm doing. Likewise, when I come back from a shape, I come back from that rock step in a crossover, I'm going to go from that crossover shaped evenly over to the other side, instead of kind of using my core to snap it into place. It's going to be using my feet grabbing against the floor and using my calves and legs more to kind of rotate that evenly through. So you've got 4 of our building blocks now. So through the slow, and that's gonna, for more advanced shapes, that's where you're gonna get your swivels. So if I'm doing a fall away through, that's where that part where you come to attention right before you do a sway, or if you swivel all the way through on a slow for kind of an ocho shape, more like tango. Those on the slows rotations are even so that they can line up onto linear shapes. The rotate through the slow is always a linear shape. We talked earlier about if you're rotating in the boxes, that it'll be all at once on that one, and it'll be the box shape itself that gives it smoothness. All right, we've got one more, and our through the rock is the last one, and this it has a lot to do with waltz through the 3. But through the rock, you're essentially going to have your pas de bourrée, your fall away, anything that travels you through space when you would normally have the assumption of a rock step is going to be what we're talking about. So in underarm pass is a good example. We're in progressive. We rock together on the first rock. We come to center, and then the leaders stay in place and the followers walk by instead of doing a rock step. Crossbody lead, that's another good example where the time of the music says to do a rock step, and the tension or the shaping of the move gives us a walk instead. So now you've got your 5 building blocks, internet, study them hard, and please send us your questions, your comments, because especially building blocks are kind of abstract, and so if you have questions or things that feel strange, please post those. This video is brought to you by the letter Rumba, and just a heads up, one of the things we're doing, just as a little plug here at the end, is we are digitizing our DVDs. We are making those available online. Each online DVD is $3, and you get access to all 36 of the step videos. Rumba is one of the ones that we have done. We're working as fast as we can to get through those. But if you can like the video, subscribe to our channel, and that'll give you faster access. But the online videos, there's I think 6 of them done now, and we're getting through a couple a day to get those available to you guys online. But Rumba is one of the ones that's available. You can find that at the qcsoda.com in the soda shop there. So, all right, this has been Rumba class. This has been our building blocks. I appreciate you guys. I miss dancing with you guys, and we will see you soon. Thanks, Internet.